If you've ever been in a weekend safety brief and you were told explicitly to not fight the locals, but you fought the locals anyhow, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're one of the locals and you fought some military kid, go ahead and subscribe as well. Like, comment, the comment section is out of control. It's kind of what makes my channel, so scroll down, take a look, and try to understand the community. I still don't. If you are looking for a shirt to show that you like guns but you're afraid of girls, go ahead and buy a t-shirt from me and Alonzo Defense. We make t-shirts and belts and all that good stuff. So get in there, get that stuff. If you want some plaid, Vertex, discount code GRANDTHUMB will give you 25% off, and the discount code GRANDTHUMB will also give you, I believe it's 5% off from Freedom Munitions. Save yourself a little bit of money, get some sick ammo, get some training in, all that type of stuff. Let's get into it. So today, we're going to be venturing away from 5.56, finally. So we're going to be talking about the 9mm AR-styled pistol, in this case, from CMMG called the Guard. Kind of an interesting design, so we wanted to talk about it. This was sent to me to review and to look at, but as always, guys, I am impartial, just like I was with the Bren from CZ. So let's get into this. So you have an 8-inch barrel, first off, firing 9mm. This does come in 45 as well. What makes the 9mm Guard so interesting is the radial delayed gas blowback system. So as compared to a straight gas blowback system, what the radial delayed gas blowback system allows is for the design to use a lighter bolt. Because it uses a lighter bolt, you have less felt recoil. So it's really controllable at high tempos of speed and all that type of stuff, and I found that it's a lot of fun to shoot. It has even less recoil than something like the H&K MP5, which is pretty legendary for being a very controllable weapon, both in single fire and full auto. Now, what comes into this is you have a lighter bolt, less recoil, you have a really light rifle, it weighs in at around 5.1 pounds. Of course, my particular weapon's gonna have a little bit more. I have a weapon light and optic, and obviously a loaded mag is gonna add weight to that. But what I found that this is good for is I have this right now set up for some type of home defense. So I think that this is where this particular weapon system really shines, because if you have an individual who is either weaker, so if you have somebody with some type of physical disability or an injury or something that prevents them from holding something heavier like an AR or what have you, or a shotgun, then this is kind of a pretty good option there. Now with this, you have to realize what your trade-offs are. So versus like an AR pistol or an AR rifle, if you're to use that for home defense, you obviously have a little bit less firepower, for lack of a better term. The terminal ballistics on 9mm are not as violent or as effective as a 5.56. Now, that being said, when you go down to 9mm, however, you get a lot less flash, and you get a lot less bang, and a lot less recoil. So it could be good for certain individuals. So I think that there is definitely an application for this type of weapon for certain situations. These do come in different colors. You can get them in pretty much any color you can think of. This one is some type of sniper gray or something like that. Basically, they look like crayon colors, so I want to point this out for my Marines. Don't eat this. No eat. Don't. It's not good for you. It's not a part of a healthy meal plan. Go back to drinking the blood of your enemies or whatever you do, and eating crayons and all that good stuff. The bolt carrier group and the bolt and all that kind of stuff is all proprietary, so you can't switch that out between ARs and this weapon system. Now, with the charging handle, however, you can use whatever you want. So in this case, I swapped it out for a BCM gunfighter charging handle because I am a big fan of that. Another thing that's kind of interesting about this particular model is the magazine release. It's quite large. I imagine that has something to do with the fact that it locks onto Glock mags, which is what the CMMG Guard takes. But in any case, it's really easy to depress, simple to switch those out and all that type of stuff. I've never had any problems. In fact, for whatever reason, this the Guard actually works with the K magazines, which are pretty notorious for being crappy. But in any case, it works with most Glock mags that I've tried it on. I've used the ETS, I've used factory Glock mags, the Magpuls, the Ks, those have all been fine. So it seems to work pretty well. I've heard reports that there are certain kind of Glock mags that don't work so well with it, but I don't have any of those on hand to test out, but the ones that I have tested have worked fine. Now, compared to something like the H&K MP5, this does have a last round bolt hold open, all that kind of stuff. So that means that when you fire your last round, it's gonna hold open the bolt so that you can simply swap that out, put it in, drop the bolt, all that type of stuff. So good. I like that. It's kind of what I've come to expect from an AR, and this is not an AR, but still, it's kind of what you'd expect, and it's how it works. So that is nice. This particular pistol has a CAC receiver extension and the CAC pistol brace that comes standard with their pistol models. As far as the handguard is concerned, that's from CMMG. It works fine. It's nice, small, and slim. Now, compare it to some of the kind of big wigs out there, like the BCM KMR or the MCMR or the Gh3 rails. I think there's a little bit lacking there as far as the design is concerned, but nonetheless, it works fine for its intended purpose, which for me is simply home defense. This particular pistol comes with a A2 style flash hider. I found that it works great. I haven't really had the need to change it out. If you did, because you had a suppressor or some type of device, you can unthread it and put whatever you want on there. It is 1/2x36 thread pitch, so just realize that if you're going to get a muzzle device for it. As far as the accuracy is concerned, you're going to get good accuracy with good ammo. I don't know what you expect from 9mm, but out to about 100, this is pretty good. I've gotten some pretty good groups with these. I'm not the best long-range shooter in the world, but I certainly haven't had any problems with this particular build. Okay, now before I get into the cons of this gun, I want to talk really quickly about my setup. So this does have a mag pull grip. When it comes to this type of weapon, I put a InForce light on it. I am reviewing the InForce light for an upcoming weapon light review that we have coming up here in a little bit. But in any case, I put it on the top because that allows me to easily fire it from either hand, or if I have it for, you know, somebody who is left-handed, it's going to be easier for them to use it with their opposite hand, all that type of stuff. It's easy to use it in an ambidextrous fashion. So that's why I have that mounted up there in that kind of little Cyclops kind of form and fashion. Does it look as cool as like a side-mounted flashlight? Definitely not, but sometimes function does overcome form to some extent or another. Up at the back here, I have a Trijicon RMR mounted on the ScalarWorks mount. ScalarWorks, I think, probably makes some of the best mounts out there right now. I did the Trijicon RMR because it's a simple to use optic. It changes dot intensity according to light. Is it always perfect? No, but with a light up front, I haven't had any issues there. So that is as far as my setup is concerned. Now, talking about cons on this little pistol right here. Price, right? This thing costs a lot more than I'd want to spend on a pistol caliber carbine or a pistol style AR or that type of thing. It's around $1,300 plus. Expensive. Now I do want to say that the components are quite good, that they use it, the barrel's good and everything like that, but still the cost is a little hard to swallow. And the thing about that is that the trigger, for example, I feel like for the price you should get a better trigger in there. It is a single stage trigger, but it's quite heavy. I can't run it nearly as fast as like a Gh3. And I know I'm kind of spoiled because I've been using Gh3 triggers for so long, but I feel like they could have done a little bit better on the trigger there. Another problem that I have is with safety. I don't know why, but the safety is super stiff on my particular model, and it's not loosening up at all. So I might hop in there and cut some coils back on that spring at some point. Freaking safety. You know, for a $1,300 weapon, I kind of expected that kind of stuff to be ironed out. Finally, I've seen this with others too, and I feel obligated to tell you that this, for whatever reason, does not like hollow points that much. Now, from some people that might be a breaking point. Like if it doesn't run hollow points, I'm not going to use it for home defense. But what I've done is I've used the nozzler bonded points, and so they're a hollow point with kind of like a little ballistic tip at the front, so it feeds like an FMJ, and that works really well in this particular pistol, and I imagine it would work just as well in the rifle version of this. So that's how I've solved the problem. I know that there are other designs out there besides the nozzler bonded tip, but just wanted to throw that out there for what I've done to use this effectively for home defense. Not that I've ever used it for home defense, but if I had to, and that type of thing. So really that kind of brings it to the end of everything that I really have to say about this. I think it's a really controllable, really fun to shoot gun. I can really run this thing fast and easily keep it on target during rapid strings of fire. I think the price point is a little steep, but if this is something that you're looking for, some type of pistol caliber AR style rifle and that type of stuff for home defense for whatever reason, whether that be because you like the idea of using 9mm home defense or because of your home situation or because you're going to have this for like a wife or a girlfriend, or if you're some type of injured vet and this is the only thing you're going to be able to hold and use, then hey, I think this is a really good option. Definitely take a look at this, understand what its capabilities are and what its limitations are. You need to ultimately decide for yourself if this is going to work for you. If it does, I think you're going to be happy with it. Just realize that you're going to have to use some type of bonded point bullet for home defense. Otherwise, you might get this gun choking up a little bit. I think it's a good buy if it fits your parameters. And the biggest thing is, does it look cool? Heck yeah. Now, it doesn't look like H&K MP5 cool, but it looks cool in its own form because it runs like a little beast and it's super light recoiling. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate you guys' support, and stay tuned for next week. We're going to start getting into some really interesting stuff. And I've got nothing else for you at this time. Reading is important. If you're looking for a good book recommendation, I'd highly recommend The Men, the Mission, and Me. Get in there and get some knowledge.